That's how SmackDown ended tonight. Now, this is how I'm gonna start off my live stream. This is how I'm gonna start off my YouTube video. This is welcome back to this is my channel, my live stream. This is WWE SmackDown review. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Do my SmackDown review, my live stream. Um, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section y'all want to see more. I'll make this live stream like an hour long. We will talk about SmackDown. We'll talk about what happened on the show, the matches, the build to the chamber. We have some qualifying matches, and there's matches that are set up for next week and Monday Night Raw. We will talk about a little bit of AEW, and then I'll show you guys the podcasters like Salamoth, JD from New York, Fightful Pro Wrestling. Also, my video is sponsored by them, my favorite YouTubers and favorite podcasters. Yeah, so yeah. Now this is how SmackDown opened. So after Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso won the main event, they beat Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Cody pinned Tama, and then Solo comes out and attacked Cody Rhodes. Solo been out for a couple of weeks now. He left the Bloodline. Now he came back. The fact that we're going back to Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline again just so annoying, so nauseating. The same old shit. Everything we're prepared about on this show. Nothing really happened. There's no big storyline. It's right back to the same old shit. How come we didn't see Roman Reigns or Paul Heyman or anything? Now The Rock didn't show up. Last year The Rock showed up on the Raw after SmackDown, after the Rumble. This time he didn't. I don't think The Rock is wrestling WrestleMania. He might not show up at all. When are we gonna see Roman Reigns? This show needs Roman Reigns. The crowd don't care about Solo Sikoa. Why is he on TV? What we doing, Solo Sikoa? No one takes him seriously. Solo Sikoa is a loser. He lost to Ulafala. He lost to Roman. What the hell is he gonna be doing now? This one here tells me WWE creative is clueless. Triple H doesn't know what the hell he's doing. They don't know what to do with the Bloodline story anymore. I just don't know what to do anymore. Alright, now, I actually want to rewind back so I can show you guys the matches for next week and on Monday Night Raw. Probably have to skip ahead, so let me just show y'all. Hold on. Hold on. I'm hoping that they show it. That it, or is there more? Oh wait, hold on. Alright, so here are the matches. Here's next week. Next Friday, we got Tiffany Stratton defending the Women's Championship against Nia Jax. Should be a decent match. Should be alright. It could end either way. Maybe a screwy finish, or maybe Tiffany does win, or she could defend it at the pay-per-view. We just won't know. Obviously, Tiffany's gonna retain. They're clearly setting up Charlotte and Tiffany for WrestleMania, where they're waiting for it to be revealed. Hope Nia Jax don't get involved, because no one wants to see that. Nia Jax, get out of here. No one see Nia Jax at WrestleMania. Alright, this is next Friday. Naomi versus the Woman US Champion Chelsea Green in a qualifying match. I think Naomi should win. I'd be fine with either one. Chelsea's doing alright with the title. It'd be nice if she wins it, but maybe Naomi, they can tell something with her and Bianca. We still haven't seen Jade Carter. Where is she? Is she legit injured, or like, where is she? We don't know. I think I'll go with Naomi. Or maybe Chelsea. Maybe she'll win with the help of Piper Niven. We'll have to wait and see. I'll go with Chelsea. Now, there was a surprise right here. Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman in a qualifying match. Now, obviously Damian Priest is going to win it. Braun Strowman's not winning it. Jacob Fatu, it's too soon to put him into a match with going after a world title. Not yet. Obviously, Damian Priest is gonna win it. If the rumors are true by WrestleVote that the plan is to do Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, because Damian Priest eliminated Drew McIntyre, McIntyre was upset, he complained. He also brought it up tonight on Smackdown. And he mentioned he got eliminated by a loser or a nobody. He didn't mention Priest's name, but they could be setting that up. Obviously, Damian Priest is going to win here. It makes sense. He's the right guy for it. Oh, that it? Like, wasn't there more? I could have sworn that they had more matches. Now that's what we got back there. The Three Prophets obviously turned heel. Oh wait, hold on. Now these were the matches on. Bianca Belair defeated Piper Niven. That was a qualifying match, so she qualified for the Chamber. Pretty Deadly and DIY, that was a waste. That was a shit match, by the way. That was just garbage. Pretty Deadly got no reaction. Crowd didn't give a shit. This match was nothing special. Pretty Deadly win, who cares? Obviously, they're setting up D2 to have a feud, but Pretty Deadly's not over. DIY, I love DIY, but they we gotta do something with these tag team titles. Gotta do something interesting with them. And also, down there we got Drew McIntyre defeated LA Knight and Jimmy Uso in a triple threat qualifying match. So obviously McIntyre, he going to the Chamber. So now it's McIntyre, Cena, and Punk. And then we got Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio in a qualifying match. Obviously Logan Paul gonna win. I think we will see Seth Rollins qualify soon. Hopefully Roman Reigns will qualify. Hopefully. We actually won't know. But yeah. Oh yeah, we got Carmelo Hayes defeated Akira Tozawa. Now there was a random throwaway match. Don't know why it was on the show, but why is Akira Tozawa on SmackDown? He should be on Raw. He's not doing anything. I don't see how Hayes are gonna get over wrestling on job like Akira Tozawa. Tozawa, he's not doing anything with the Alpha Academy. He's nothing but a jobber. Carmelo Hayes, he's not in the big feud right now. He's not doing anything. He should go after the US title. He should beat Nakamura, but I don't think we saw Nakamura on the show. Can we take it off him? Nakamura seems like an afterthought on SmackDown. Take the US title off him. He's not doing anything with it. He feels like irrelevant. He's an afterthought. You might as well take it off of Nakamura. And also, we got Alexa Bliss in a qualifying match with Candice LeRae. This match was pretty decent. Alexa Bliss is back. She's officially on SmackDown, they said. It was her first match in 2 years since being back with the company. So Alexa Bliss came out. She was over tonight. She came out with Lily the Doll. She had an old theme song. I'm looking forward to seeing what she does in the Chamber. So yeah. SmackDown wasn't that much. The only two things. Who is Jay gonna pick? Who is Charlotte gonna pick? And we all know who they're gonna pick. Yeah, so that's how SmackDown ended. Alright. Oh wait, hold on. Alright, hold on. Now I'm gonna show you guys the rest of this show. Wait, what? AEW Dynamite's on here. Alright, hold on. We got alright. Now, the other news and rumors I want to talk about, the WWE releases. There were a couple of superstars who were released today in WWE. We had Cedric Alexander got released today. Sonya Deville, that's why you see your face here. Sonya Deville got released. Belair Davenport got released. AOP and Elton Prince, Paul Ellman, he got released. I, I meant to say Paul Ellman and AOP got released. Sonya got released. Belair got released. Cedric Alexander got released. I think there's more. Oh, here's a interview that they did. Now, Sonya Deville is part of the Pure Fusing Collective. Now, otherwise, I had to call them Pure Fusing Garbage because they're just terrible. But she with the Pure Fusing Collective with Shayna and Zoe, and she got released. Belair got released. She didn't really do much since being called up. Sonya wouldn't really do much with that fashion. AOP wouldn't do anything. They're not over. Cedric Alexander, he's on NXT. He wouldn't really do much. He had some decent matches, but wasn't that much. Sonya Deville got. She didn't really. She hadn't done anything on the main roster outside the fuse he had with Mandy Rose. And that was it.
It could be an AEW. That's my gut feeling. He'll be there sometime in the near future.
Oh, I hope so.
I think he's got the 90 days, so.
I hope so. These were releases today that really weren't doing anything. We could see Cedric in TNA or in AEW. Reunite the Hurt Business. Since we got Bobby Lashley, Shelton, MVP, Cedric does fit with the Hurt Business. It does make sense. And the Hurt Center again looking for new members. Cedric Alexander can definitely fit that. He can.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org.
Yeah, Indy Hartwell is now a.
Alright. Hold on. I actually want to see what Sean is.
Sonya Deville, this was.
Hold on.
So without a title reign, she had.
Hold on.
In the tag team, the Iron Savages, was arrested a couple of weeks ago, basically for strangulation, domestic violence related charge, and AEW found out severed ties with that man immediately. I would say good move AEW immediately severing ties, Alex.
Yeah, I agree. When it comes to things like this, it should not be played with. There shouldn't be long talks about investigation or anything like that. This has happened with other people, and sometimes it took a little bit long.
The news of the releases is on a free tier. We don't post that behind the paywall. Additional information behind it is behind the paywall, but I'm going to provide you guys with a lot of that information momentarily. I'd like to welcome Kate on here.
I'm happy to be joining the post show.
Almost daily, we have additional channels, interviews, all that stuff, and we're just happy to have Kate here on her 2021 MacBook. Her Mac
Of the counts to come and play. Hey, 775 saying what happened with Blair Davenport. Sean loved her. The fact that she was built really, it felt like properly there. Under the new era.
Yeah, so I'm going to walk through these releases and what we had reported on them. So you mentioned Blair Davenport. I know there had been some reports out there that had indicated that the move to 3 hours would create plans for her. There were never plans for her, and that was a source of frustration among a lot of people. There had never been any extended creative plans for Blair Davenport. I've already heard from numerous people, around wrestling who have talked about possibly getting her booked in other companies. Heard from one person in AEW who's that, other than there had never been creative plans. Sonya Deville, this was one where she had spent 10 years with the company, and there was not a lot of upward trajectory that people in WWE were seeing. Clearly, Pure Fusion Collective didn't take off in any discernible way, and Sonya's contract is expiring and will not be renewed. She will be a free agent within a few weeks. I know that a couple wrestlers had already spoken with her about it, and she seemed to be all right. But then there was Cedric Alexander. He was released to be a free agent in 90 days. This is one that is, there's a little bit to weigh here. His wife is Big Swole. She had a very contentious exit from AEW, but also he is going to have people that are pushing for him in AEW. Probably the Hurt Syndicate. Like, I don't think that's like a big secret. Like, they love that guy. They would love to work with him. He would fit that mold very, very well. If they ever wanted to go the trios route, I think that would be a more long-term fit than MVP, who is wrestling here and there. He will be a free agent in 90 days. He is on a main roster deal, even though he was in NXT. AOP and Paul Ellering. This is an interesting one. So first off, they were signed for quite a long time before they ever showed up. In fact, one of the people that came back in like 2023 was like, yeah, I saw them at the Performance Center in like August, like 6 months before they showed up. They were very adamant that Paul Ellering be taken care of and be brought back with them. Because when Paul Ellering was sort of ditched as their manager, a lot of people thought, oh, he doesn't want to be on the road. No, that man didn't care. He wanted to be on the road, and they were adamant that it be a package deal. But there were a number of wrestlers and people that I heard from in the industry that said that they came in with a bit of heat because of some outside ventures that cost a few acts money, including the ill-fated wrestling show that they were going to put on that had a really good-looking card and some other things. And some of those people ended up on the WWE roster. And in fact, I was told, yeah, probably a reason they were put with Karrion Kross is to take some heat off of them in that regard, because everybody likes Kross there. I know Kross obviously didn't feel great about this, about them departing. He was very loyal to them as well. He's a stand-up guy, but there were no creative plans for AOP and Ellering following the Wyatts. It's just that there weren't. And this is a team that at one point looked like they would be very, very special. And they fizzled out, and then they got brought back, and I can't pretend they were ever booked to be what we once thought they would be. They were losing via like some of the worst roll-ups you've ever seen. So Tin Ruza says WWE making incredible money, releasing a F the Fed. And Van Twinblade says Indy's about to cook. F Bear though. Yeah, Indy Hartwell is now a free agent. She's going to do very well. Like, listen, I have yet to meet a woman from that geographical region who isn't hilarious. I don't know what it is.
But fellas, too, like Duke Hudson got released earlier this week.
Yeah.
And he has an incredible sense of humor. Everybody who follows
Grayson's funny too. I guess when you live in a place, I will be here for a little bit. I'm going to talk contracts. I'm going to talk LA Drew stuff as well. Yeah.
However you saw.
Okay.
Maybe Indianapolis is that.
Less forgiving than others, and then ones who feel betrayed by those forgiving people. Like, it was honestly a wonderful long-term play for WWE to do that, and then bring back everybody that got screwed over and their individual stories as well, and whether or not they were willing to reckon with the fact that Roman was a changed man or not, because he just erased from TV. claimed that we would get canceled. National TV, which is
for that product at all. So it's
All right, well, Sonya Deville, Bianca, Belair, AOP, and Elvin, Cedric, he's been released.
this Valentine's Day, go beyond the usual. Show your love with the gift.
So,
involved with the bloodline. Those are the things in life that you can count on no matter what. Cody Rhodes and the fucking bloodline. Solo Sikoa is back. He was not in the Royal Rumble last weekend. But Solo Sikoa was standing there tall in the middle of the ring to close out tonight's episode of Smackdown, putting Cody Rhodes down with a Samoan spike in a sight that I sat here and I thought to myself, did we go back in time? What year is it that I'm sitting here in right now? Because I could have sworn it was 2025, but you could have fooled me. I could have been sitting here in 2023 and said the same thing. I could have been sitting here in 2024 and said the same thing. But it is 2025. And Cody Rhodes is still being put down by Solo Sikoa and the Samoan Spike. And it would appear that we are headed towards at least one more match between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. Who asked for this? Nobody asked for this. Why am I still watching Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline closing out episodes of SmackDown every single week? No one asked for this. Now, Solo Sikoa being back is invariably going to lead to something with Jacob Fatu. That's what I'm more interested in seeing. What is going to be the dynamic now between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu now that he is back? He walked out on his men. He was a loser in War Games. He was a loser on Netflix in the debut. And then he left. And Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga have had to go it alone over the past month. What will be the reaction now that he's back? Well, we'll see. That's where things can potentially get interesting, because I still think the play for WrestleMania is Solo and Jacob. How do we get there? This may end up being part of that story. That's not the point. Even if this is a means to a totally different end, I'm tired of seeing it. Enough. We don't need to see it over and over and over and over and over again. Cody just can't quit these guys. Even had Jey Uso on his side tonight, which at least I can excuse that because they've established that these two men are friends, right? Two of the top baby faces in the company. But it seems to me like we may be headed towards a match in Elimination Chamber between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. It's entirely possible. It may not be a SmackDown match. It could be the Elimination Chamber title match. Ridiculous. Enough with this shit, please. Jey Uso was there tonight, not just in the main event, but he was there to confront Cody Rhodes at the beginning of the show. Charlotte Flair was also there, and what they have in common is that they are your two 2025 Royal Rumble winners. And they both have a decision to make. What championship are they going to challenge for at WrestleMania? The choices seem obvious, but it is a weekly episodic television show, so nothing wrong with
just found this unbelievable sequin dress on eBay. From the seller, it's probably a Vegas showgirl.
I trust. And for the most part, I do. But I'm not really feeling the speculation right now. Again, we could be sitting here being led to bullshit. But from what we know, what we read, and what we have come up with as a community, I'm not excited. I'm not. The rumors are McIntyre and Damian Priest, Cody Rhodes and John Cena, Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match is the latest rumor. I'm not enthralled with that. I'm not. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not interested in the build of WrestleMania. Just based on what's being set up. I'm less interested.
I especially don't like John Cena and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I mean, you can fucking kick rocks with that one. I mean, that is as boring of a main event as you could possibly come up with. That is a Vince McMahon level main event for WrestleMania. Oh, but John Cena deserves to win the title. He deserves to win at WrestleMania, JD. Sure. If you're a half-witted fucking idiot who wants to wrap up his biggest storyline in 4 months, by all means, go and do that. I'm not booking the fucking show. I'm only telling you exactly what it is that fans want. They don't want that. There are other options that fans want besides that. Cena should win his first match in 6 years before he goes and gets a championship. Which is still the direction that they could possibly go in. I'm not excited about that at all. I don't like triple threat matches at WrestleMania. I think they're lazy. I much prefer a one-on-one, story-rich match with meaning and importance. Triple threat matches should be reserved for the rarest of circumstances. Needless to say, I'm not excited. So where exactly are we going with Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa? Because clearly they have a direction going into the Elimination Chamber. Cody's not really doing much of anything at the Elimination Chamber. He's got to wait for Jey Uso to choose Gunther, and then he has to wait to see who wins the Elimination Chamber. And by the names already in this chamber, there's only one guy I want to see win this match, and his name is CM Punk. I mean, they could do that. I would be okay with that. I really would be okay with that, because then that means we're going to get Rollins and Reigns. And both of those matches speak to me more than John Cena and Cody Rhodes. And then the triple threat match with Rollins, Reigns, and Punk. Those matches speak to me. Cody and Punk, Reigns and Rollins, Owens and Orton, Rhea and Bianca. Those matches speak to me, man. Those matches speak to me. Gunther and Jey Uso. Sheamus and Braun Breaker. So where exactly are we going? If Solo Sikoa is attacking Cody Rhodes, again, I don't know. I'm only making mere speculation here and discussion with everybody here live, 2,100 people on a Friday night. One would have to assume that The Rock, because of the family ties and the fact that Solo is being thrown out there for absolutely no rhyme or reason, there's no real story there, The Rock would almost have to be the reason why Solo Sikoa is out there attacking Cody Rhodes. A match with Solo and Cody for the WWE Championship would almost be a layup for Solo Sikoa to be working on Cody so that The Rock could pick apart whatever's left. Maybe? I don't know. Does The Rock enter the Elimination Chamber?
I want to
Does
see
he
that.
take out somebody? Does he just say, fuck it? I want Cody. No matter who you have win the chamber, I'm getting Cody. So figure out something else. And we're back to 2024 all over again.
Is that what we're going to? I want to see that. Unless they tell a story there, that could happen. Unless we tell a story here, maybe we'll get Roman Reigns and The Rock in the chamber, and maybe I have Roman eliminate The Rock. I don't know. Something.
I mean, there are legitimately 0 human beings that are invested in another Solo Sikoa going after the WWE Championship situation.
We already seen that. We've been there, done that. Solo Sikoa is a loser. He's absolutely a loser. He lost twice to Cody. He lost at War Games. He lost to Roman Reigns on the debut on Netflix. And he left the bloodline. Crowd don't give a shit. Crowd don't give a shit about Solo now. I hope this is leading to Jacob Fatu taking over and turning on Solo saying, Solo, I hate you. You left us. You ain't the one no more. And then Jacob Fatu attacks Solo Sikoa and takes him out. And then Tangaloa comes back, and then we get them 3. And then The Rock, he's in charge of the new bloodline. Hopefully, I hope it leads to that.
So when it boils down to it, the reason why we saw what we saw tonight, it almost has to be The Rock.
I hope so. If not, I don't know what the hell we're doing there.
Otherwise, why would it be happening?
Exactly.
Who's going to save him?
Hold on, there's a commercial. Is that GTA 6 or this a racing game? I don't know. I'm not gonna
In the
even.
chamber? Who's going to come to his defense, and where does it lead? Because it looks like to me they're setting up a WWE Championship match for Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber. I don't know why they would be going to Toronto and sell out the fucking Rogers Center with 45,000 people and then not have your WWE Champion on the show. It almost speaks as if it's The Rock.
Well, they need something big on this show. It can't just be the 2 chamber matches. Gunter's not defending it at the chamber because his match with Jay is already being set up. So Cody Rhodes needs a filler feud, and he needs someone after Kevin Owens. So let's go back to Solo again because we are struggling to find any clever challenger for Cody Rhodes as champion. Cody Rhodes had done nothing but feud with the same people. The same people. Kevin Owens obviously the longest, but don't forget how many weeks did we see Solo on the Bloodline attack Cody Rhodes last year, like all the months ago. It's just the same old shit, rinse and repeat, because they can't find any challengers for Cody Rhodes. So Solo is gonna be a filler feud, hopefully lead to somewhere with Jacob Fatu turned on him, hopefully lead to The Rock. I hope we get CM Punk in the chamber. I think CM Punk is the only one that makes sense because that's the main event. That will main event one tonight. It can main event night 2 or night 1. Punk and Cody is the main event just based on the teaser that we got, the interaction that we got last month, a few weeks ago. Based on what they said at the Go Home show and what we got last year, it had to be Punk and Cody. That's more interesting. And that will main event. Cody Rhodes is your champion. He's your main event. CM Punk will finish his story, being the main event of WrestleMania. It just makes sense. So I hope that that's what we're doing here. Because Cody Rhodes is your top champion. He's the one. So it has to be against CM Punk. And then we can tell a story about that. It's not going to be Drew McIntyre. I don't want to see John Cena. Damian Priest will qualify next week. Not going to be him. Ain't going to be Seth Rollins. We don't know. We're going to see Roman Reigns in the chamber. If he's going to be added. Maybe we'll see The Rock. I don't know. We have to wait and see.
Again, mere speculation. Mere speculation. We've been given no choice but to book WrestleMania without The Rock's involvement. And if we're going to book the best WrestleMania card with what we got, and we're not going with The Rock, the way things are happening on television right now, the best match for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, being that everybody else is tied up, is Cody and Punk.
Yeah, and CM Punk will get to finish the story, and that's the main event WrestleMania. I see that at the bigger match. That's interesting, and they have a story there. John Cena has no story, and I think that's gonna be lame and lazy. That can be like a Vince decision. I don't want to see that. And what, John Cena gonna beat Cody Rhodes and end the title reign like that? And John Cena hadn't even earned it. John Cena hadn't won a single match on live television. Now, who John Cena gonna feud with? You can have a feud with Logan Paul. I'll be okay with that.
Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, one-on-one with the rich lore and the history that those men have. Seeing that it was the way that it was last year, and it bled into this year with Reigns and Rollins. Those would be your two big matches. Then we go to Jay and Gunther. Then we go Rhea Bianca. Then we go Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Sheamus versus Gunther. Fill in the rest of the card as you see fit. That's the only thing that makes sense right now. Drew McIntyre, I don't know where Drew McIntyre goes. I really don't. I'd have him against Roman Reigns as a serious contender for that match. But clearly they're going in one direction, and it's not Drew McIntyre. From what we see and what we've heard and what we read, it looks like Drew McIntyre should be one-on-one against LA Knight for whatever reason. I could get behind that if they build a proper story and some intrigue around it, but it doesn't really fit the vision and the mission statement of Drew McIntyre.
I doubt that.
I don't know.
Well, it depends how many matches do they have on WrestleMania. Night 1 may have 7 matches, and Night 2 might have 6 matches. That's 13 matches. And what titles are going to be defended besides the world title? How about the mid-card titles, or the tag team titles, or the women's mid-card titles? We won't know.
But tonight's happenings also just kind of make me feel that The Rock is not done with the WrestleMania plans yet. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Solo Sikoa WWE title on the line against Cody Rhodes. No, nobody. Legitimately nobody wants to see that. They had a decent match on Smackdown. I believe that was last year at some point. October-ish, maybe.
That was in September. It was on September 13. That was actually their better match. Because the match they had at SummerSlam was fucking boring. It was actually terrible. They had no chemistry. And the crowd was dead for that match. 20 minutes of nothing. Minus the interferences and at least one weapon with a steel step. That match was only used to set up the return for Roman Reigns. And that was it. But the match they had on SmackDown and the steel cage match was actually very good. They were very decent. And that was it, really. Since then, Solo's been a loser every week.
I think it was before Bad Blood. Nobody wants to see that again. Nobody.
I don't.
It might have been the debut. I want to say, was it the debut on? No, what was it? Fox season premiere, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Season premiere, I believe it was. Yeah. No, nobody wants to see that. We're just gonna have to wait and see how it plays out, man. That's the first thing that I thought. That's the first thing that came to mind. So I know some of you in the chat are probably feeling the same way. Honestly, nobody wants to see it. Everybody's thinking The Rock. Where could it lead? What's the answer here? That's what I'm going with. Honestly, that's what I feel like is gonna happen. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I gotta shout my guy out here because he's in the fucking chat. It happens with Cody going full Homelander. And I'm not risking WrestleMania 41 and the main event because we got to play out John Cena's story 4 months into his return in his final year.
John Cena will win the title. Not now. I don't think it should be at WrestleMania. He should win it for singles match. He should beat Logan Paul. I think they should do that. You know, John Cena and Logan Paul. Because Logan Paul will probably be at WrestleMania again. He usually competes at WrestleMania every year, so it just makes sense. Do Cena and Logan Paul. Just do it as a filler feud, and just to have John Cena win his first singles match. And then you can start building up John Cena to win number 17, probably at SummerSlam. That's the other big pay-per-view, so I haven't won it there.
I don't care to see that so soon.
Yeah.
Let him win his first match. There are still geeks on social media claiming that this is the proper way to go for WrestleMania. No, it's not. He's got to win his first match. And then we can start talking about him. Maybe entering the King of the Ring. Maybe qualifying for Money in the Bank. Maybe winning Money in the Bank. Maybe winning Money in the Bank and getting a main event at SummerSlam for the world title.
Exactly. He should have qualified for the chamber instead of just being lately added. He couldn't have wrestled on Smackdown or Raw. Why does everyone else have to qualify but not John Cena? Why has he just been added to the match? He was added 7 years ago. Last time he was in the chamber, it was 7 years ago in 2018 when he was added at the 7th participant when everyone else added. I mean, why can't we have done that? Why is it being added? John Cena said he's going to wrestle full time this entire year. If he only work, he can't just work like all the pay-per-view. He should wrestle sometimes on Raw or SmackDown, do some house shows or dark matches. That's what he should be doing. He should win his first match before we talk about him winning titles.
Who knows? Who knows? It may be Jey Uso and John Cena at SummerSlam. We don't know. Or you could do Cody and Cena at SummerSlam. Or Cena and Punk at SummerSlam. That would be a great way to cap off the summer, no? I appreciate you, Lorgasmic. Thank you so much for being here in the chat. We're going to talk about SmackDown tonight. We're going to talk about these releases. I'm not going to go over in depth the releases. I already have a video coming out tomorrow, so you guys are going to have to wait for my thoughts tomorrow. So we will definitely get into everything that is SmackDown tonight. I appreciate you all stopping by. Single year I'm doing this, man. We're on record. It's absolute fucking garbage. And I want to make sure you can't have it. Womanizer. Give 15% off your first order. Z Biotics. Tonight's sponsor right here on Off the Scripts. Get into the SmackDown show. Want to start off with the releases. Sean Rossat of Fightful Select had you covered all night. Details behind the numerous WWE releases. Names were being filtered on social media throughout the 3-hour SmackDown tonight. Authors of Pain released from the WWE. Akam and Razor no longer with the WWE. Sonya Deville no longer with the WWE. Cedric Alexander no longer with the WWE. Paul Ellering no longer with the WWE. And Blair Davenport no longer with World Wrestling Entertainments. All of these individuals, Sonya Deville is one of the big, it's probably the biggest name on this list. The most shocking to me is her name and Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport's name is ridiculous. The fact that Blair Davenport is on this list of names released is fucking ridiculous. Remember there was a report, and he's got some really good shit that has gone out so far this year. Dr. Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda. There was a report earlier in the year, around the beginning of January, where we just started hearing that SmackDown was being moved to 3 hours and the 3-hour format was going to be used to get a lot of the talent that hadn't had an opportunity on the 2-hour platform of SmackDown to get some in-ring time and develop a name for themselves, because they're going to need some more stars. They're going to need to create new stars, and the 3-hour show that is SmackDown is going to need some bodies and some names to hold the show up. And Blair Davenport's name was mentioned. Chat, how many matches has Blair Davenport had this year? 0. The answer is 0. I don't even think she wasn't even in the Royal Rumble. They moved her from NXT UK to the main roster without a single fucking plan. She hit NXT. She didn't really do much of anything down there either in Orlando. Then they moved her up to the main roster, and she had absolutely 0 plan for herself. or they had zero plan for her. She basically got thrown to the wolves. Wasn't even given an opportunity. The machine did not put anything behind her. So that to me is the most surprising name. Sonya Deville, you know, everybody knows exactly what Sonya Deville had to go through with that fucking creeper, that stalker that broke into her home and tried to kill her or whatever the fuck he was trying to do. He had zip ties and fucking whatever. I mean, just a bizarre fucking weirdo that should not be walking amongst the other humans of this planet. She had to deal with that. She took time off for that. She came back. They didn't do anything with her. They didn't do anything with her. They put her in pure fusion garbage, insomnia, Bed Bath and Beyond, Crate and Barrel Collective. They didn't do anything with her. The whole makeup of the group was basically, how fast can you fall asleep during their matches? We'll talk about this a little bit more on tomorrow's Extra. I'm going to do a separate video on all this instead of getting into it tonight. Sonya's name is the biggest on the list. Blair Davenport is the most shocking because she definitely should have gotten at least an opportunity to prove herself, which she did not. And then the AOP. I mean, you want to look at that being a good thing for Karrion Kross? Absolutely. Absolutely. But AOP, in a division where they need solid tag teams, they could have been a great tag team to complement a War Raiders or a New Day, or maybe move them into another faction where they made a little bit more sense. They got brought back. They didn't do anything. They had zero impact on the show.
Yeah, they were nobody. They were not over with the crowd. Crowd didn't care about them. They got no reaction. I think AOP and Paul Ellering just brought down Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is a single. He's way too good to be in a faction. Now this is good for Kross, and Kross and Scarlett are much better on their own. They're better together. Then they don't need these guys. Now this is the second time that AOP been released. This is the second failure for them. I think this time is worse than the first one, because you gotta remember, 5 years ago they were paired with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, and that lasted a week. They ain't doing anything with them.
And basically were the anchor that were both keeping Karrion Kross down. And now he's free. Again, we'll talk about this a little bit later. I got an extra coming out tomorrow.
And Vanilla.
Not once. I don't know where his head is at. My guess is that if the interest is there on their part in talking to him and doing business with him, he would love to be a part of that Hurt Syndicate. I'm sure he sees the success they're having so far, and he would love to be a part of it. I'm sure they are hearing this news, and they will go to bat for him. I would be surprised if MVP and Lashley and those guys didn't go to Tony Khan and say, hey, this guy's super talented. Let's bring him in. Let's make him a part of the family. He's one of. Could very easily see him land because he's super talented. Nobody has ever denied the talent that he has. But that's the only reason I would say can't be 100% sure about him jumping right over to AEW once he's a free agent. Now there was one more cut, not tonight, but I was going to talk about this anyway this weekend, and I'll talk about it more at length on Sunday. But several days ago, we learned that there had been a cut
which apparently happened some time ago. We only first heard about it, I think, now. But an NXT cut in the former Duke Hudson, real name Brendan Vink. Duke Hudson was part of Chase University in NXT. That was the gimmick where he finally found real success. He had actually been on Monday Night Raw many years ago in the early days of the pandemic shows at the Performance Center. He got called up as Brendan Vink, him and Shane Thorne. I think that might have been a Paul Heyman project. And he wasn't on the main roster for more than a few weeks. They both got called back down to NXT. And then he had a couple of different gimmicks and they didn't work out. Ultimately, he ended up being, inserted into the Chase University story with Andre Chase and Thea Hale and all of them. And it worked. It took some time, but it clicked. And he got over it. And Chase U was a pretty popular gimmick on that show. And for whatever reason, they disbanded it several months ago. I don't know why they would have done that. And I don't think it would have had a very long shelf life had they done it on the main roster. I think it's a perfect gimmick for NXT. But the minute they did that, it seemed to seal his fate. And I wonder if he actually got cut right after that, because I want to say that Chase U disbanded in September. Could be off by a month or so. So I don't know if he was cut in October or if the cut came at the beginning of the year. So I think he may be a free agent now. I don't know what his plans are. He put a video out this week, which was kind of slick the way he did the editing, where it was like two versions of himself. He was interviewing himself, which was very, very creative. And I wonder if we'll see more. Or, yeah, I could see that kind of building some interest in him. And I could see him ending up having some success on the independent scene. But yes, Duke Hudson, not to be forgotten, even though that was not a cut that was reported tonight, but nonetheless, no longer with WWE. And that's really all we know at this point. We don't know if that's the end. We don't know if there's more to come. But we shall find out in short order. But for tonight, that is the list as it exists. No names on there that I would consider shocking. There were no names on there of people who were really actively being used on TV right now, outside of Sonya, and we barely saw her, although she was in the Royal Rumble last weekend. But beyond that, she really wasn't doing a whole lot of anything. So none of these names are shocking. It just feels like their usual spring cleaning that they do every now and then. But the Blair Davenport one, to me, is probably the most ridiculous of the bunch. And I will never understand the logic that goes into calling somebody up from NXT and not having a plan for what to do with it. I just don't understand it. I don't recall hearing that she was injured after she got called up and missed time, and that kind of ruined their plans or anything disciplinary or anything like that. It really just feels like she is someone who fell through the cracks through no fault of her own. And those are the ones that really just make me shake my head and make me angry, because I don't know if she would have gone on to be a big deal or not on the main roster. But at least give her the chance. Put her in a real storyline. Get her time on TV. Get her time with a microphone in her hand. Let her be part of a story or two. See where it goes. See how the fans react to her. You can't get a gauge on that if the woman appears for a match once and then doesn't appear for 6 weeks, and then appears and then not again for another 8. What purpose does that serve? It's a waste of everybody's time. It's a waste of her time. It's a waste of the company's time. It's a waste of television time. And it's a waste for her because she spent all this time in this company, and I'm sure they paid her, and she was grateful to be on television and the biggest company and all that. But there's some aspect of it where you look at it and go, what a waste. I could have been doing so much more, and they had me on the back burner, and now I got no buzz. I got nothing going on. And now you got to kind of recreate yourself all over again. It sucks. But I don't put that on her. I put that on Triple H, and I put that on the company and the people who make these decisions. Sometimes they don't use their fucking heads. Let's talk about this Smackdown show. After opening the show tonight with a Royal Rumble package. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Who said that, Vinci? Who mentioned Vinci? Daddy Ugarte. Absolutely. Vinci's another one. You know what? If I'm shocked by anything, it's that Giovanni Vinci was not on this list. You talk about people that they call up or reboot, and then you turn around after you see what they've done with them, and you just shake your head and say, "For what? For what? For what?" He's another one. It's a great example. Unfortunately, I think his time is coming. I hate to say it, but I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I agree.
But after opening with a Royal Rumble video package, your 20
I just want to fast forward, try to rewind back here.
to the final testament that once I read that they released Ellering, my next thought was
Hold on.
gimmick literally was he was a shit stirrer. He was the Woody Woodpecker of the locker room. He would go around, nobody knew who the fuck this guy was. They would ask him, "Who are you?" He would go, "Just Joe." And he would just basically, like, he was spilling the tea and trying to stir shit up and make shit up to create problems in the locker room. Right? Cross just reminds me of Just Joe. Although he's more talented. Ahead of myself and say that he and Sandy are going to be doing something together because maybe they won't. Whatever they're going to do with Cross, he'll be better off on his own with Scarlett. The Final Testament as a faction largely was a fail. Paul Ellering release, AOP release.
The Final Testament, I'm surprised that faction lasted as long as it did. Like they were things like over a year. Over a year. I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did. They weren't going anywhere. They weren't getting over. It brought down Karrion Kross. AOP wasn't over. Paul Aaron, no one cared. So I'm glad it got released, and it might actually build up Kross more, hopefully.
They didn't do much. They didn't do much of anything. Paul Ellering rarely got the chance to even speak. And at one time, he was one of the better managers in pro wrestling. And granted, that was fucking 35 years ago, but the man's mouth still worked. But rarely did we even hear his voice. AOP, it felt like they were brought back in a package deal because he managed them in NXT. So when Ellering came back, AOP came back as well. Once I read that they released Ellering, my next thought was, I wonder what that means for Akam and Razar. And then it wasn't even 10 minutes later I saw that they were released. They were like a package deal. Akam and Razar had added a team to a tag team division that right now is pretty grim. That's about it. Again, it's not like they were being featured in a prominent way. It's not as if they really added a whole hell of a lot, let's be honest, to the tag team division. So it doesn't shock me. But Final Testament, here's what I don't understand. And this goes to, I think, the suddenness, the sudden nature of these cuts, which is the last we saw of the Wyatt Six was on Raw. They lost to the Final Testament. Now, Cross is still there, and I think Cross is the one who pinned Uncle Howdy, if I recall, in that match. So Cross is still there, but the Final Testament, they got the win in the blow-off against the Wyatt Six. Now the Wyatt Six got shipped off to Smackdown. We haven't seen them yet. Apparently somebody is hurt. I don't know if it's Bo Dallas, but that's what's been the holdup. I guess somebody was dealing with an injury. But they shipped them off to SmackDown. They lost the Final Testament. The Final Testament now is done. Boy, I'm sure glad they gave the win to the Final Testament, that first big win over the Wyatt Six. Meant nothing.
Now it just makes me more upset. It just pisses me off more. It makes me more upset. What was the whole point of that feud? Of the Wyatt Six and the Final Testament? Now the feud wasn't really my cup of tea. Thought it was pretty boring. But what the fuck was the point of that? I would have the Wyatt Six go over. You used to protect Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, and the Wyatt Six. It would benefit them more. It didn't benefit the Final Testament, and no one cared about the Final Testament. People loved the Wyatt Six ever since they debuted on Monday Night Raw. People loved it. People love seeing Uncle Howdy. I'm hoping that we see him again. Hopefully, I don't know what's holding him up. Now that Alexa Bliss is on SmackDown, I think they have to show the Wyatt Six and Alexa Bliss. I think they will. But yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, the Wyatt Six will be fine because they basically left the territory and they went to a different one, so they're going to have a new life on SmackDown whenever they decide to show up. It's not a huge blow to them. It just seems like a waste of a win, and it just goes to tell me that this decision was made recently enough. And again, I'm sure the final decision was made like this week, but you would think that that match wasn't that long ago, that they would have had the foresight. Like if they didn't think this was working, don't put them in a position to beat one of the top acts that you have built up on that brand. I don't know where their head was at on that, but it just feels like a waste now looking back at it. Felt like a waste anyway. Not like they really used that win over the Wyatt Six to help elevate the final testament. Give me a fucking break. They haven't been elevated at all. Now they've been elevated right out the door. So Ellering and AOP gone. Also gone from WWE. Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander had spent some time more recently on the NXT brand. I don't remember the last time he even had a match on the main roster. It's probably been a couple of years at least. But more often than not, he was on the NXT brand over the last several months. And I think there was a feud or a storyline that they were teasing with him, but it didn't really go anywhere. This was a number of months ago. This is not shocking. He's one of those guys where I had to stop myself sometimes to think, is he still there? Is he still on the roster? Because there were times where I just kind of thought he was cut a long time ago. And then I realized he was still there, and I'm like, oh, okay. They're sure not doing much with him, but I guess he's still employed, but no longer. This is a weird one, because I could have sworn that there were news stories late last year, that he had re-signed with the company, although I think the stories were that he re-signed earlier in the year. Let's assume, I don't know if this is the case, but let's assume maybe he was tired of not being utilized and he was just like, you know what, I'm wasting away here. I don't want to be here anymore. It's one or the other, and we don't have any clarity on which one it is. But what a kick in the balls if he decided to stay and he signed a new contract, and then a year into it, they got rid of him. But he posted a tweet earlier. He said, "Thank you for the last 8.5 years." Think about that. He was with them 8.5 years. Being a professional wrestler has been a dream of mine since I could form memories, and I will continue to do so till the good Lord says otherwise. # see you in 90. So that means that 90 days from now, he'll be a free agent. Obviously, the first thought on people's minds, and it was the first thing I thought of as well, is the fact that he was a part of the Hurt Business when the Hurt Business got hot many years ago in WWE. He was part of that crew. And now the Hurt Syndicate is running full steam in AEW, and they have the tag team titles, right? And they've been very dominant so far. What perfect timing for Cedric Alexander to link up with his old crew and be part of the Final Testament. He definitely does not want to be part of the Final Testament. He wants to be part of the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's logical that it would. And I know, yes, so Tony Khan's going to snatch up another WWE guy, and not even a prominently featured one. But that honestly would be the best spot for him in that group specifically. I don't know if it's going to happen. His wife, Big Swole, she had a very what is the opposite of amicable? Acrimonious parting of the ways with Tony Khan and AEW. That was also, I think, 5 years ago at this point, right? 4 years ago? It's a long time ago. And that's Big Swole. Doesn't mean that Cedric wouldn't be willing to do business with them. It just means that there could be a reason why he would not want to. I don't know where his head is at. My guess is that if the interest is there on their part in talking to him and doing business with him, he would love to be a part of that Hurt Syndicate. I'm sure he sees the success they're having so far, and he would love to be a part of it. I'm sure they are hearing this news, and they will go to bat for him. I would be surprised if MVP and Lashley and those guys didn't go to Tony Khan and say, hey, This guy's super talented.
I came
Let's
back.
bring him in.
Only
Let's make
reason
him a
why I
part of the
came
family.
here, I
He's
came
one of
here for
us.
y'all. I came
Could
here
very
to
easily see
reunite
him
with my
land.
brother, with my
Because
friend,
he's
my
super
brothers.
talented. Nobody has ever
Yeah,
denied the
we were
talent that he
family, we
has.
were brothers in the other
But
company.
that's
When
the
we were
only
hurt
reason I would
business.
say can't be
We're not
100%
going
sure
to
about
hurt
him
Well,
jumping right over to
it's a
AEW
different
once it's
company,
free.
so we have to have a different name. It's still
Now, there was
hurtful to
one
me
more
because we are special.
cut, not tonight, but I was going to talk about this anyway this weekend. And I'll
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back and see something.
who made that decision? Was it Triple H? Right? He's the chief content officer. So he's deeply involved in the creative aspect of these shows. Was it him who made the call to bring her up from NXT? And if so, where's the plan? Where's the plan? There was no plan. And I'll never understand it. And now she's gone. Great. But she'll do well for herself because she's very talented. So wherever she's going to land, I don't know if she's going to sign to create problems in the locker room, right? Cross just reminds me of Just Joe. Although, but in terms of in-ring, she really has not done anything of significance since the feud with Mandy Rose. And that's going back, what are we talking about here? 5 years? Probably going back about 5 years or so.
Back in 2020.
She really has not done anything of any significance in the ring since then. She was out for a very long time because she tore her ACL. And that is a long recovery. She came back and she just didn't seem like the same performer. And I don't want to make it sound like she was, the greatest thing in the women's division before the injury. Lighting it up. But she certainly wasn't lighting it up since she came back. And I don't know if that's just a product of the injury. I don't know what that's a product of. All I know is that she had a match on Raw last summer with Io Sky that sucked. And look, if you can't go in there and have a good match with Io Sky, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. And Pure Fusion Collective, just as a group, as a pairing, it wasn't working. It just wasn't doing anything to add value to the show. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm surprised by this cut. It really doesn't surprise me because she wasn't doing anything of any note. It clearly didn't have anything for her as far as a feud or either a mid-card title, the Women's World Championship. And she was just outshined by the other women in the division anyway. So I didn't have any expectations that we were going to be seeing her against Rhea Ripley, anytime soon. It just felt like WWE didn't really have a need for her right now. And when her contract is up at the end of this month, she'll be free and clear. I could absolutely see her trying to, hit the indie scene and try to make a name for herself on the indie scene and kind of get a second life for herself. And I wish her well. I hope it happens. But in WWE, it just wasn't happening.
You know what? I'm not even
And if they weren't going to do
I'm
anything
just sick
with
of
her,
a lot of people sick and tired of seeing
and
feuds.
probably better off that she goes and tries to do something somewhere else. They're not going to really do anything of any great note with her. So Sonya Deville gone from WWE. This one actually surprised me more than Sonya Deville. But even though Sonya had been there for longer, Blair Davenport gone from WWE. She was on the Smackdown roster. I don't fault you if you didn't know that or you didn't remember that, because I can't remember the last time we even saw her on TV. It's been many months. Blair Davenport was in NXT, and she had some success down there. She got called up to the main roster, had her first main roster match in June of last year. Since that time, she has had 5 matches on TV. That's it. And she won one of them against Naomi. Actually, I think her and Naomi traded wins back and forth. But that was it. So talk about women that WWE clearly didn't have any plans for and didn't know what to do with. The reason it surprised me is because she had potential to be more on the main roster, and she never got the chance. It's like I can think back to when WWE has cut other people. I remember when they cut Sanity. I remember when they cut Hit Row, or most of the members of Hit Row, fucking Swerve, right, and all them. The thing with those guys, and we see what Swerve has gone on to do, but even something like Sanity, like they just literally they never got a chance. They got called up, and it wasn't that long. So he's deeply involved in the creative aspect of these shows. Was it him who made the call to bring her up from NXT? And if so, I didn't realize when I woke up this morning that today was Black Friday. Will not be renewed. So she is still part of WWE. Now, the difference with her and some of these other people that I'm going to mention here is that if her contract is expiring in a few weeks, there will be no non-compete. So basically, if they cut you early, you're under a 90-day non-compete if you're on the main roster. But if your deal just expires, then as of, midnight the following day, you're free and clear to go and do whatever you want, sign wherever you want. And that is apparently the case with Sonya Deville, but I don't expect to see her on TV again. I don't know what that means for Pure Fusion Collective. I don't really care about what happens to them collectively as a group. I think Zoe Stark, for example, would be fine on her own. She doesn't need to be part of Pure Fusion Collective. Shayna Baszler doesn't need to be part of Pure Fusion Collective. And frankly, the two of them were a tag team on their own beforehand anyway. So I don't really think anything's going to change for them unless, God forbid for them, they end up on the cut list, but their names were not on the cut list tonight. So Sonya Deville, Sonya Deville has been in this company for a number of years.
All right, now let's get back to him talking about SmackDown. I think we talked about all the releases here.
Definitely featured one, but that honestly would be the best spot for him in that group specifically. I don't know if it's going to happen. We don't know if there's more to come, but we shall find out in short order. But for tonight, that is the list as with a Royal Rumble package. He got on Monday and the reaction that he got tonight. I would like to know where all the people are who don't think that this guy is main event worthy material enough to be in a championship match at WrestleMania. Where are those people now? I know there are people that don't like him and they don't think he's a good wrestler and they think he sucks and all he does is super kick. I mean, that's, hey, fair enough. But again, all the people who said, oh my God, Jey Uso, I can't understand it. I can't imagine why would they give him the Royal Rumble? Why would they even consider sending him to one of the main events at WrestleMania? And then you see Monday night and you see tonight and the reactions that he got from the fans. And boy, the fans seem to feel otherwise. I can't imagine why they would have considered him for a spot like this. We may need to hire a private investigator to find out because I can't figure it out. Jay said he was there to pick a champion to main event WrestleMania with. And he went on to say that coming out of the Rumble, he went to the doctor.
Yes, he is.
He said that his hip is out of alignment and he needs fluid drain from his elbow. And a bunch of lower back jargon that his doctor threw at him that he really didn't understand or pay attention to.
Jey Uso
Said his doctor is a nice guy, but he's not the WWE champion. One thing the doctor left out was the good prognosis, just how full his heart is and how he is 100% proud of Jey winning the Royal Rumble. Cody said, look, it's Jey's choice. Said he had his choice taken away from him last year. Oh yeah, we all remember that. In fact, I think it was a year ago to the very Smackdown, right? Because it would have been the first Smackdown of 2024. I think it was maybe Groundhog Day when The Rock came out on SmackDown and he hugged Cody and whispered something in his ear and almost stole his WrestleMania main event away from him. That was 1 year ago. So he said he had his choice stolen from him last year. Had a fight for it. He said it's Jay's sign to point at. By the way, if you didn't notice, there it is. There it is. I cut it out myself. The WrestleMania sign is up. That's how you know it's WrestleMania season, because we point to the sign over my shoulder. There it is. All wanted to know where it is. There it is. Cody said, you and I, we've had good moments. We won the tag team titles together. We had a libation or two. Cody mentioned they weren't far from Beale Street. They could do that all over again. He said that in order for his title reign to be complete, though, he has to go to WrestleMania and win. Because we should have fun tonight, because if you choose me, that will be our last time. And with that, Cody and Jay shook hands. That brought out Jacob Fatu and Tamatanga to the ring. Tamatanga made his weird mating call noise. And he handed the microphone over to Jacob Fatu. He said that Cody took the title from his family last year. Now his family needs the title back. Fatu turned his focus to Jay and said that if anybody was going to bring that belt back to the family, it sure as hell wasn't going to be you. And Jay super kicked, not Fatu, he super kicked Tamatanga. And then Fatu super kicked Jay. Cody threw some punches at Fatu. Fatu mowed him down. And Fatu backed into the corner. He charged towards Cody. Jay cut him off with a super kick. Cody hit him with a Cody cutter. And the two baby faces teamed up to clothesline Fatu out of the ring. So this was exactly what I figured this would be the minute they announced on Monday that Jey Uso was going to be coming to Smackdown this week. They're teasing that he might challenge Cody. He's not going to challenge Cody. And I don't think anybody with half a brain believes that he's going to challenge Cody at WrestleMania. But again, they're going to tease it out for a little bit. I actually wonder, though, if they foreshadowed the end of WrestleMania tonight. Because we had Jay in the ring talking about how we could have a situation where WrestleMania is over. You and I are standing side by side. Me as the World Heavyweight Champion, and you as the WWE Champion. So almost teasing like a Benoit Eddie moment from the end of WrestleMania 20. Confetti falling, two champions. I wonder if that was a foreshadowing of what we're going to get in Vegas this year. And they obviously used this to set up the main event for later in the show, which was Cody and Jey Uso against the Bloodline. So I just love how Cody Rhodes ends his feud with Kevin Owens. Just to get sucked right back into the Bloodline vortex. Yeah, we talked about the Jericho vortex in AEW. We have the Bloodline vortex. For clothesline Bianca with some assistance from
Alright, here's Smackdown. Here's the highlights of Smackdown.
Jey Uso has more of a connection right now with the audience. And it's just organic. You can't manufacture that. There's just something about you that
Up of talent, being disrespectful and all. Miz then laughably said that he always had Cody's back. Cody looked at him and said, Miz, I don't need you to have my back.
Here's the Chamber in Toronto on Saturday, March 1st. Here's Smackdown. These are the highlights with Smackdown. That's how the show opened. And that's how it ended. Alright, I'm gonna end the video. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Hit that like button. Leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see y'all later. Hopefully y'all enjoy this video.